All right, we are back. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying a little bit earlier, I want to thank everybody working out there, all the essentials, everybody out there. You guys, hopefully, you guys are being safe, following the guidelines. I know recently some states opened up, and lo and behold, we thought it would be kind of a crazy thing to say that maybe hopefully nothing went wrong, but again, some states just opened up and cases, struck high again. We have high cases of the coronavirus or COVID-19, as people like to call it again. It's a shame, really, but hopefully, we can, try to beat this thing because, it is, summertime and, we all want to have fun, but we all got to be safe about it too. So, hopefully, everybody out there is being safe about it. And for the ones that are quarantined, hopefully, you guys are doing good. You guys are being safe about it. You guys are just having a good time, just with your family, your loved ones while staying at home, keeping the body fresh, keeping your mind right and trying to find any little distractions you can to, get over this thing. So hopefully everything comes out good. So today, by the title, it is what we hope is the final hurdles of baseball and basketball coming back. So today, Major League Baseball and the MLB Players Association are kind of talking about, maybe restarting the season and everything. And from what we understood right now, it's just talks. It's not an agreement. It's just talking. But compared to where we're at, just I would say last week, because last week it looked dead in the water, and then Monday just kind of made it seem confirmed by the commissioner when ESPN did that special of Return to Sports, where it just looked like season wasn't going to happen, that it was 100% dead, the season's over. And then I don't know what happened between Monday and today that it looks like there's going to be a season, possibly. We don't know. So what the little details that I do know, that what they've put out there and what has been confirmed is, as I mentioned in previous videos, if baseball season were to happen, it's going to have to be after the All-Star break. I love the All-Star break. I love the Home Run Derby. I love the All-Star game, but it's just not going to happen this year. And it sucks because it was going to be in Los Angeles. It was going to be fun. It was going to be cool. We finally get something in California. It's very rare when All-Star events happen here in Los Angeles, in the California area. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So what they proposed was July 19th would be the start date. And what it would be consist of 60 games in 70 days. 60 games, 70 days. That's kind of a lot, but in realistic terms, their body's already built for that. They have to play a lot of baseball games during the whole year. So 60 and 70, doesn't seem a lot. An expansion of the roster, instead of 20, they might go to 30, which is, I think, is pretty cool. I think right now is the right time for all the leagues to kind of experiment what they want to try to do in the future. With the NFL, they're already talking about canceling 2 preseason games, which is something that they've already been talking about even before the coronavirus. So, I mean, right now is the time to experiment with your proposals during this time, which, is the right time. So 60 games, 70 days, an expansion roster, full prorated salary. Now, for the people that don't know what full prorated means, it just means that they're going to get paid in full. If they didn't put the full in there, it just means, hey, you're only going to get paid for 60 games of your contract. So to get fully paid off, that's amazing. Now, these last two are kind of the tricky ones of, expanded playoffs in 2020 and 2021. I'm not sure how that's going to help. I don't know why we need to expand the playoffs. I think, keeping it the same, especially for baseball, is just fine. Just keep it the same. I don't know why we need more. That's the whole reason why playoff baseball is so, watched all across America, is because it's not that many teams. When you got the NBA that has 16 of the 30, which is already over the 50% by a little bit. You got hockey that has 16 of the 30. It's kind of like pretty cool when baseball just has like the few teams from each side, four from the American League, four from the National League. And it's just a cool thing to see. It's just 8 teams out of the 30. So it's like, hey, these are the best teams in baseball. So I don't know what the whole point of expanded playoffs is for. Maybe it's just for a little bit of extra games. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. And then this is sort of the one where I was kind of worried about when I did hear the news that, hey, baseball might be coming back. And then, I texted a good friend of mine and I showed her that and she's ready to go. She already told me, hey, when baseball comes back, we're going to all the games. And I said, maybe not all of them, but I'd be down to go. So the last bullet was kind of the one where I'm like, the waiving of any potential grievance. This is kind of where I think the players in a way kind of messed up. They let their emotions get the best of them. Basically, what this means is if somebody does get hit with the COVID or they did get hit with this disease, that they cannot sue Major League Baseball, that they cannot try to get something back from them. It just, waiving that, I think that's going to be the big one. Um, it's not the start date. I'm sure, these guys, like baseball players all across, every team just tweets out the same thing. Just tell us when and we'll be there. Tell us when and we'll play. And that's good. I'm glad the players feel that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure we would all love to see a great, baseball game. That'll be great. But I think that one is going to be the major one, the waiving of any potential grievance. I think that's the one where the Players Association, like that has to be 100%. If there's one vote on a no, then this is the last resort. I mean, for people that don't want to hear this is the last resort for baseball to come back. I like how the schedule is going to be set up, though. I mean, I was kind of worried how they were going to set it up, but it's pretty cool. So you're just going to play your teams in the division. So you're going to play each team, the 60 games, so each conference or each division has 5 teams. So you're going to have to play them, a certain amount of 3-game series, and that's a lot of 3-game series for each one. But I like it. I think it's a great concept for it. I think everybody will love it. I think everybody's going to love the scheduling. I think everybody's just going to love, just seeing baseball back if they can agree to these terms. Because if not, then the MLB is going to have to renegotiate on a CBA contract, meaning should they disagree with this and there's no baseball this year, then the contract that they set up recently for the CBA gets voided. They have to come up with another CBA agreement, and that might be potentially longer, than 2020. I mean, if they can't come up with this new agreement, then this CBA gets void. Not only do they have to worry about them coming back, first they have to come up with an agreement to come back, and I think that could push it more. There's a possibility that we won't probably see a baseball game until, I hate to say it, 2022. And I mean, I don't care how bad my Angels are, man. I would love to go to a baseball game, but of course, safety's, the first thing is, these players have to feel pretty comfortable. They have to feel, comfortable enough to play and comfortable enough to, go travel, to other states that some are stricter than others about this whole, COVID issue. There's some states that said, screw this, we're reopening everything. And, those states unfortunately got spikes. And then there's states that just, they don't want to open anything. There's states that just don't want to open nothing. It's been closed for months now. And it's just getting to the point where, people are just going to lose their homes because they can't pay mortgage. And, that's a different, animal there. And then it's just bad right now. It's just some states are worse than others. And That's why, we all have to help each other. That's why I always keep saying help each other. But that's another topic for another day. As far as this goes, um, I would love to see baseball back. I just think that last one is going to be the deal breaker, the waiving of any potential grievance. I don't think, I'm sure there's some players out there that are, hey, let's do this, let's rock and roll. But I'm sure there's some players out there that are, no, and I get it. I don't think no player should be have to play if they're not, you know, okay with it. It's their life, it's their health. You could fine them, but then what is that sending a message like, hey, we care for our health, but apparently the league doesn't. And it's a crazy crazy thing that right now it's the owners that are trying to push this because they're the ones that are losing out of it, and the players for the first time in a long time kind of have the advantage over the owners. It never really happens, but I think this is the one time where the players should use this leverage. This is the first time they do have leverage against the owners, and I think right now is the right time to use it. I think what would be fair, I think 60 games is too much. I think 60 games is a little too much. I think 48 is doable. I think 48 is fine. You get your 3-game series in the same, shorter playoffs. You don't have to expand. I understand, TV money. I get all that, but it's not worth watching baseball if the best players, God forbid, if something happens to them, injury, this pandemic that's going on. I don't think it's right, and I don't think it's right that they're going to hold these players, to the point where, well, if you can't wave off this, then the deal's off. I think that's a bunch of bull crap or bull honky, as one of my good friends says it. I don't like it one bit. I don't think it's gonna go through. I hope it goes through, and hopefully everybody that agrees. Hopefully the players agree that they're comfortable with this, and then they're not doing it for force of their teammates or the owners forcing their hands to play in order for them to get paid. Hopefully, they're just doing this because they do want to go out there and they are comfortable enough to play a game. There's going to be no fans, but it is what it is. But I'm all for it right now. So um, hopefully, it does happen. And then on the other topic, on the flip side of it, the NBA, they want to restart their season, July 31st. Which is cool. But again, the NBA has given the players, as we found out today, till June 24th. So, next week, literally next Wednesday, today, the whole NBA, Players Association, they have to agree to follow the rules of what the NBA put out. So all the games are going to be in Orlando. This whole thing is going to be in Orlando. They're going to use 3, little stadiums that they have in Orlando. They're gonna try to do everything to make it as safe as possible. No fans, daily testings. Players are not gonna feel like they're in prison to just stay in their room. They're gonna do their thing. They're gonna just make it as comfortable as possible. It's just the players have to agree. And the last couple of days, there's been a couple NBA players that have disagreed and that they want to stay out. The hottest name right now is Kyrie Irving. I mean, he wants to sit out for safety reasons. He wants to sit out for the purpose of he just doesn't feel comfortable right now everybody coming back. And that's one man's opinion. That's cool. I mean, everybody feels like they want to come back. There's a couple other players, Avery Bradley, he put it out there that right now basketball should not be the main priority for us. It should be helping what's going on in the real world right now. And okay, that's a good standpoint. And then Dwight Howard's the same way. He just doesn't feel safe enough to come back. And, they're kind of getting criticized for, sitting out, by fans and reporters that, you're getting paid this much, play the game. Well, I know a lot of people that, are getting paid too and are scared to go to work. And that's just a normal job. I have friends that work at Amazon and they're scared that they might get it. I have friends that work in warehouses and they got to do what they got to do because they need to make, they got to make the bread. They got to make ends meet in order to have a roof over their head. So, I get that. So I don't think nobody should ever be forced, especially during this time, to go to work if you really feel like unsafe, if you're not comfortable being out there. Because it is a weird time right now. Like when this whole thing's over, we don't know when it's going to be over. A bunch of stuff's going to change. And right now, I think they're in a position of power to say, hey, I don't want to play because of, my health and because I'm just not comfortable playing. And that's fine. I don't think they should be killed for that. I don't think they should, be mocked or ridiculed for that. I think they're playing it safe. They're the ones that kind of want to see this thing end as quickly as possible. And that's the thing. Everybody has different opinions. Some people believe that this, whole thing is a hoax and, that it doesn't exist. And then sure enough, it happens. And now we're kind of going back to square one. I mean, we were doing good for a little bit. And then all of a sudden now some states reopen fully and spikes happen, the pandemic spikes happen again. I think people have to realize that, this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. This is like real life. And, I like how, I've talked about it at work today, how the Prime Minister of New Zealand and Germany handled the situation, like, hey, these are the laws, follow them, and then we'll be okay. And sure enough, they did everything they can to prevent this. And now they're to the point where they haven't had a case in about a couple weeks, a few weeks. And I think that's great. I think they did a wonderful job. Whereas here in the US, we're just, we don't care, I guess, in a way. I mean, people just don't care and they want everything to be open, and that's fine. I get it. I can't imagine staying home, all day. I mean, I got to go to work. Like I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to have a company that's allowing me to go to work every day and, make a living. And I thank them for that, but I just can't imagine the people that are stuck at home all day. And, I can imagine that the walls are getting shorter and shorter as each and every day passes by. It's a crummy feeling. I'm sure it's got to be a crummy feeling. And I hope that, that's why I always say, you got to keep your mind right. Hopefully distract yourself, whether it's, reading a book, playing with your kids, you know, playing video games is even a distraction nowadays, so you got to do what you got to do. But, going back to it, um, as I mentioned in my last video, I don't like how the NBA set up their playoff format. So I can understand why some of these guys are not all in on going to play. And for the ones that do play, they feel comfortable enough. And, I hope they're safe about it. And I hope nothing happens because you never want to hear anybody happen to anybody. It's just a terrible thing. And as I mentioned before, I wouldn't want to wish this even on my worst enemy. It's terrible. It's freaking terrible. And, I hope that people understand that, this is a real thing and, we got to be safe about it. We got to be cool about it. I understand that it's not right that this happened, but it's happened and we have to attack it head on, meaning don't think about yourself, think about others. Be safe for others, so and that's pretty much all it is to it for the NBA. They're going to have testings, they're going to do this. There's going to be no fans as of right now. I don't know how much of that is true. Maybe they're saying, maybe a couple family members from each team, obviously be safe about it. But they're thinking, from the way it's sounding, some players are going to sit and some players are going to play. July 31st is the startup date for the NBA to resume. As far as baseball goes, if we don't hear anything by this time next week, that would be kind of a bad deal because it was a good positive sign for them to go from 100% dead on Monday to talking about it today that, hey, this could be the last offer. Maybe the Players Association comes back with a counter offer. I think the big, the hurdle would be the waiving of the potential grievance. If they can just agree on something, I think baseball could come back. I know soccer's coming back. Soccer's already been playing in Europe, and that's great. Korean baseball's up. The NHL's about to restart here pretty soon. Today, ESPN announced that colleges are going to start having, practices by the end of July. Um, I think it's a good start there. So, I mean, it's not all lost. I mean, even the NFL still planning that, hey, you know, business as usual, training camps in July and preseason in August. So we'll see. The only thing I did hear was that Canton, Ohio, where the game is usually played for the Hall of Fame game to kind of kick off the season, they already kind of mentioned that, if, spikes don't slow down in that area, that the game will be played, just no fans. And I'm starting to, kind of see like, hey, this might be the first domino, but it would suck that, maybe no fans at all, but, I'll take anything at this point, whether it's baseball, the NBA, MLB, MLS restarting, the Liga Mexicana is going to start again. It doesn't matter. My Chivas suck anyway, but anyway, um, just all these sports coming back, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be something to, look forward to. And, it'll be one of those things where we don't need it right now. We don't need sports. There's a lot of other things going on in the real world, like this pandemic. And unfortunately, the riots have kind of calmed down a bit, but, we're hearing more and more, kind of a little bit of nasty snippets. I mean, I wouldn't even say snippets, just, terrible stories throughout the week here in California and across the nation where, just bad stuff. I'm not going to get into it here, but, you know, hopefully, we can all just agree that, hey, we need to fight this together, and hopefully, we'll see. I mean, just hearing that today, that, hey, maybe baseball will come back, it means a lot to me. I know it's not the most popular to watch, but the reason I still enjoy it is because, this sport means a lot to me, because this was, me and my grandpa's first, sport watching together, and for people that know me, me and my grandpa are like really close, and it's always cool to go catch games with him because, he knows a lot. He probably forgets more baseball than I'll ever know, knowing the ins and outs of it, and he's a cool person to watch because he just loves everything about it. Formations, pitching styles, hitting styles. He loves everything about it. And this is the one sport where, me and him, we kind of, agree to disagree sometimes, and, hopefully, this is the one time, we hang out a lot enough, but, baseball's kind of different because this is where we kind of, made our, memories together. So, we're rooting for you guys, we're rooting for MLB to come back, with or with no fans. It would be nice to just talk baseball with him again, especially rooting for our Angels. That'll be the day. So we'll see how that goes. And then hopefully everything does go back to normal. And hopefully by the end of this, this whole pandemic, hopefully it just be a thing of the past. Things are going to change, obviously. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe hopefully something does change. And I'm sure, I speak for the sport nuts like me that, hey, we're all rooting for these leagues to come back and start up again, and it'll be great. So, before I end this video, I do have a few announcements. Tomorrow, I know I said I was going to do this weekly Thursday. Last week, I did get caught up in some things. We're kind of had to do a little bit of something, but it happens. But tomorrow, I will be doing the second part to Throwback Thursday, and we're gonna stick to baseball because on Sunday was the Long Gone Summer. It was the documentary of the home run series, or the home run chase between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, and that was kind of one of my very first memories as a sports fan as a kid that I remember, because I remember that summer every day, just watching the games with my grandpa at night, watching the highlights of whether it was Sammy hitting a home run, Mark hitting a home run, and who we thought was gonna, break it. Who was gonna break it first, who was gonna end up with the home run, crown and all that stuff. And that was a fun year. 1998, that was a fun year. I was a very, I think I was barely 7 years old when the whole thing was going down, and it was fun. I still remember the hits. I still remember the home runs. And watching that documentary on Sunday was it was cool to kind of reminisce about that time. And for the people that are wondering, yes, I was Team Sammy Sosa. I thought Sammy Sosa was gonna get him. He was this close, and almost, But hey, it happens. 66, and he won the MVP that year. Not bad, not bad for Sammy. Mark finished with 70 home runs, 71 home runs, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see just those two guys go back to back. And yeah, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, about the home run chase, how Ken Griffey was in it, Roger Maris holding that title for a very long time, and then how that run, what people don't remember, was kind of short lived, because just a few years later, Barry Bonds breaks it, and that's the thing. It was kind of like a short lived. I think that's why people kind of forget it, because it was so short lived. It started in '98 and it ended in 2003. So it only lived for like 5 years. And then here comes Barry Bonds doing his thing, going on his campaign on being the best hitter of all time. And, it was very short lived, but it was fun to watch. And we're actually going to talk about that more tomorrow. The home run chase, the home run everything, and how much baseball has changed since then. Just the good and the very bad, and just everything in between. So hopefully you guys tune in tomorrow for that. That would be fun. And then I do have another announcement. It's kind of a we'll see announcement. I do have a surprise, hopefully in the making, and hopefully everything goes through. And there's only a few people that do know about this. But I do have a surprise if everything works out. I don't want to spoil it, but hopefully I hear from this guy really soon. Hopefully he gets back to me really soon, and we can just go through with this. Hopefully, because I've been trying to get this person on the show for a little bit, but that's another. Hopefully I'm not gonna jinx myself that I might have something up my sleeve, but hopefully everything goes through. So keep tuning that. I'll keep you updated on that. Also, if you guys are into custom t-shirts, you guys want your own custom t-shirts, you want to get them made, I actually have a cousin that does these things. Her Facebook page is custom create or create custom Lily Creations. So she does everything from shirts, everything, just canvases, the whole nine, anything, anything you can kind of think of, like you can wear, like she'll do it. It's kind of it's her gift. She has a gift of making these awesome t-shirts, and I actually want to give her a shout out right now, because I have here in my hand my first custom t-shirt from her. So this right here, I'm probably going to get slack for it, but I know people that are going to see this, they're probably going to get a couple laugh at it. So my favorite comedy growing up, it's an old black and white show. I don't know if people remember. It was called The Three Stooges. And right here, what we have here is the mayor of Oakland right here. We have former Raider fan Ray Hernandez and Zini, who basically all these three kind of had something to say about them moving to Vegas, and now the kind of jokes on them. And then she made me a cool symbol right here, the Raiders on the back. So, like I said, it's pretty cool. She did pretty cool t-shirts. She does amazing t-shirts. So if you need her, hit me up on here. Hit me up on the Facebook page. I'm gonna tag her after all this is over. After I finish this video, Um, so hopefully, you guys need any shirts. And the thing is, it's gonna be she's all the way from Texas, so depending where you're at, shipping fees might be different. I don't know how much different, but she gave me a great price on the t-shirt, and I love it. I love this t-shirt. It's everything I kind of wanted. So that's the first t-shirt I'm gonna wear to hopefully the preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals in Vegas, and hopefully, I get a couple laughs out of it. It's just kind of funny to me that, it's just these three people were kind of the, I wouldn't want to say the masterminds to it because that's an insult to every, person that ever had a great idea, but they were kind of the people that, thinking, the Raiders moving to Vegas was going to be impossible. Each one kind of played a part. Mayor Libby Schaff, she kind of didn't want nothing to do with it, which is fine, but hopefully she does go through her promises, which she hasn't, in all her years in Oakland, so we'll see if she goes through this one. And then Ray Hernandez, people might remember him as Dr. Death, but, he kind of gave up, being a Raider fan because they were going to move to Oakland to Vegas and how they should have stayed, but Oakland wasn't going to help, and he was forcing Mark Davis to sell. Well, now that's not going to happen. And Zini was kind of the one where he was throwing out these crazy videos of like how the stadium will never work in Vegas because of, FAA regulations with the airport and, just a bunch of crazy videos that he put up. And it was just kind of, like perfect that it was like those three. And I'm like, oh, well, I used to love the Three Stooges as a kid. So perfect. I got three people for Three Stooges, and it's great. And I have my first Raider T-shirt, my first custom Vegas T-shirt ready to go for August 27th against the Arizona Cardinals. So that should be fun. And then lastly, um, I usually do a startup. Well, I always do a fantasy football league every year. This year, I am going to do a little something different, as I mentioned. So it's 20. What it is going to be, it's going to be the family league and all that stuff, and anybody's welcome to play. And it's going to be $20 to join. And this year we want to do a little differently. We want to throw in some charity in there. So we want to donate to the Boys and Girls Club. So that's going to be the charity Boys and Girls Club of America. And what we want to do is everybody that plays hopefully can donate, minimum an extra $10 to the charity. And, a lot of people have already been asking me, well, what's in it for me? Well, if you donate $10 or more, and if you're the winner, or let's say, you put in your pot for the fantasy football league and you put in $10 for the Boys and Girls Club of America, what happens then is if you're the highest winner in that league, then you get a free dinner on me to Buffalo Wild Wings for a wild card weekend for any game. It doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday. So it'll be during wild card weekend. You get a free Buffalo Wild Wings dinner on me. So, it's a pretty good cause. And, I want to do this, something differently. Usually, they have like the loser has to do this, loser has to do that. I want to do a little bit different. I want to, kind of give back, and hopefully the people that are interested are thinking about joining. And I will have more info on this page and on my sports apps page on Facebook. So stay tuned and we'll get more to it. Other than that, that will do it for today. Tomorrow, the Throwback Thursday would be the home run chase. And then it's Father's Day's weekend. So, everybody out there, to all the dads out there, happy early Father's Day. Hopefully you guys get good gifts, because, it's kind of unfair. I've seen some mothers get some cool gifts, and then some dads kind of get the same old tie and T-shirt type of deals. So, kids, don't be cheap. Your dad helped raise you too. So, enough with the ties. I don't know. Maybe get them a grill. Okay, maybe you and your brother, sister, siblings chip in for a grill. I'll take them out to dinner. Nice place. Maybe not not to a sports bar, but maybe to a nice restaurant, something, you know. They're your parents too. So hopefully your dads get some good gifts. Let's go, dads. And then other than that, that'll do it for today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Do we have any questions on the thing today? No, nothing today? All right, I hope they get. All right. Take it easy, guys, and we will see you tomorrow for Throwback Thursday.
Like this.